Hi, my name is Pell, and I have 25 years of experience in fashion industry, primarily streetwear. I've done work for Nike, Jordan, Reebok, Fila. I have worked on brands like 10 Deep. I was blessed to do some stuff for brands like Mighty Healthy. Recently came off a stint of being a creative director for Kappa for 5.5 years. So been around, have a lot of friends in the streetwear industry. I wanted to go over the Clipse's drops for the album, but I'm going at it from a different angle. Just want to concentrate on the items that they actually collaborated on and their cultural significance. I want to kick it off talking about how influential the Clipse are in the streetwear market, and they've been around for a while, and for all of these drops that they're doing, how important they are for a rollout in general. I don't think that many people understand how important this rollout is and how epic it is. Just the products alone, not even talking about the music. One of the main things is, I would say that the rollout actually started at Pharrell's debut at Louis, when the Clipse actually walked the runway and to a song that they had dropped together. And it was a long time, so it was excitement to see them walk, but also to hear the music. After that, the first thing is that we wind up seeing this Cause cover. That was the first official collab piece that we saw to the album. And I think that its cultural significance goes all the way back to their 2009 album, Till the Casket Drops, where Cause did that cover. And I don't think that a lot of people really understand how powerful Till the Casket Drops cover was, because you had these guys that were dropping, the type of bars and bringing you into their world, of hustling, street culture, cocaine rap, whatever you want to call it. And then you have this very bright, vibrant cover made by this fine street artist, Cause. It's like, how does that come to be? But you gotta rewind, because the Clipse, via Pharrell and their connection, these guys hail all the way back to Bape. If you remember, they were rocking Bape heavy. They always had a connection to Nego, right? And so then you have this conversation happening with them and Cause back till when the casket drops, and now it follows up to this album cover, which is amazing. And then they do merch, and the merch is actually accessible, right? It's not like super limited edition. You can get it. And where can you get it? Complex, also Hypebeast, and on their platform as well. So I think that that's like really to be like looked at as you're bringing streetwear culture conversations between these platforms in a totally different way. Next, when they actually dropped the Verdi cover, and I was like, this is fire. And it's fire because you're talking to the streetwear culture of now. I didn't see that coming. Totally left field. And Verdi Kawakubo, not related, as I understand, to Ray Kawakubo of Comme des Garçons and Play, but amazing graphic designer. He comes along and he flips his interpretation of the cover. And I don't think people really peeped the significance of this cover. He actually reimagines the classic Clipse cover of Lord Willin'. And if you remember the Lord Willin' album cover, they're driving and Jesus is in the back of what I believe is a drop top Cadillac with suicide doors. And they're driving him through Virginia Beach. Like they're going somewhere. But the Verdi cover, Jesus is driving in a Porsche, and they got Vicky, which is the Verdi mascot. I don't know if it's a rabbit. I don't know if it's a panda. And Jesus is driving, but they're leaving. And Lord Willin' cover, the car is black. This one, the Verdi cover, the Porsche is white. Jesus is white on the Verdi joint, but Jesus is black on the Lord Willin' joint. And it's like, so to me, I just saw this juxtapositioning. But the other thing is they have a real license plate that says Frozen on it on the Verdi cover. a real Virginia place license plate that says Frozen, which to me just hails back to you're talking about luxury, you're talking about ice. Also, you're talking about, there's no business like snow business. I was like, wow, I really like that conversation that happened between that artwork. As simplistic as some people may think that it is and cartoony, I love the idea that it hails back to old work that they have done. Amazing. Then the next thing that I saw was the Denim Tears collab by Tremaine Emery, which is like, I was the first looked at it, I was like, oh, this is cool, logo flip, classic streetwear, Coca-Cola. But then I was like, oh, Coca-Cola logo flip, Coca-Cola, the American drink that represents America that used to have cocaine in it, and these dudes cocaine rap. I was like, oh, this is just like a smooth home run, like very easy. And I thought that this is so eloquent to have this conversation and hail back to the old school 90s flavor of the old Coca-Cola polos and hats and the nostalgic script. And then you have these guys who are one of the biggest architects of cocaine rap. I was like, yo, home run hit. Tremaine, he used to be the creative director for Supreme. He's done many works with Frank Ocean, Theastic Gates, with Kanye. And, it's just so much connection and conversation that's already there. Also looking at the idea of Carhartt whip, work in progress. And I thought that this was really cool. They had done stuff before and hinted at this. And what I really liked with this was the fact that Carhartt is just old school hip hop, 90s hardcore, get it from the mud and you grinding and you going hard. And I thought that that was just like easy layup. I thought it was also very different from always seeing them wearing Louis. And then we saw these other items that they would drop in, but then you had like this Carhartt conversation happening. I thought that that was very refreshing. I really liked that. And then when we wind up going to the BBC joint, that's easy layup. Virginia, BBC, Pharrell, classic, putting Clipse on the BBC script, easy layup. It speaks Virginia, and BBC is still out there and means something in the market. So I thought that was an easy layup, and I thought that it was good. They're bringing these different pieces and layers that are wrapping around their target audience. So I thought that was very smart. And, BBC hails back to the times of Bape and ice cream. And I think they're just, again, easy layup. The collaboration that they have with the artist, Josh Sperling, is also great. Because you're bringing in another fine artist who I didn't see this coming. Josh's work is like a lot of intertwined and very colorful, scripty feeling doodles and abstracted forms that's very colorful, playful, high energy. And when he did their cover and it was tone on tone, white on white, I was like, again, reminds me of snow. Like when I think about the white on white, I'm thinking about snow. And I was like, wow, this is dope. But the other part is the t-shirts, right? So he does this black t-shirt, which I feel is Pusha, because on the front of it, it has an anchor on it, which is he's rocking his anchor chain right now, iced out. And then the white one is Malice, and it's a cross, more God-fearing. And I was like, wow, these are real good conversations and texture that is happening. I think that people see the amount of product that has been rolling out and they were like, wow, and who they did the collabs with. One of the things that I think that was missing from this rollout, though, is play clothes. I wanted to see them bring back something with the running jack on it, even if they weren't bringing the brand back, just bring your brand back for this rollout. I thought that would have been pretty interesting and pretty smart. Another thing I wish that I would have seen is them actually wearing more of the merch in different places, because I thought that the merch was dope. Like I said in a past video, there is going to be album drops and releases before the Clipse, and then there's going to be album drops and releases after the Clipse. The reason why I say that is artists are going to realize that they can bring their audience into their ecosystem. Now, this is something that hails for me when you're dealing with tech and understanding your target market and your target customer and the ecosystem that they live in, you know, what they like, where they get their news, what they drink, what they eat, what music they listen to, and you understand all of these things, and then you can wrap your idea into that ecosystem so it's easily digestible. I think that's very important. And a lot of people miss that and they just roll out and they don't think about their ecosystem. I personally think that a lot of artists can learn from the Clipse's rollout. And the reason why they can learn is you don't have to have a lot of money to do this. A lot of people say that Pharrell, you know, he was the architect, and I get it. That, you know, that definitely he has connection and we can see that. But we also have to remember that even if you're a guy who's coming out with a t-shirt brand or whatever, your target customer is into other things. And for instance, you can collab with somebody who got a candle brand or whatever. As long as it's not competing with you, you can tell them like, yo, I'm about to roll out this product. Like, what's good? Let's do a special scent. You know, I'll do the artwork on the candle or what have you. Like, if you know a homie that's whatever he's doing, if he's doing a bar, like, yo, let's do a special drink, a cocktail for, you know, my drop, and I'm gonna do this event. But there's several different things that you can do. I have seen people go to microbreweries and get them to do special labeling for them for a beer. Like, if you're part of these different type of ecosystems, you can get things done. You do not have to live in a silo. Like, it is very possible for you to expand your rollout, because trust me, your counterparts that are still at the same level and height as you, they're trying to figure it out. And if you can figure out a way for you to get with them and really like expand this conversation of your rollout, that's how you can have expansion in the conversation of whatever you're trying to drop. I think that this is an incredible case study of how you can actually have conversation within your target market and target demo to actually bring them into your ecosystem, have better storytelling. I am waiting to see the way that this landscape is going to change because of this. And I'm really happy that art is on the forefront of this conversation. I think that's another thing to be spoken about. Hey, I salute this drop. Like, serious. It's great. I believe that we're going to see more artistic connection going forward, more thought partnership. I think we're going to see better marketing campaigns that are going to come out of this. And if we don't, that's a shame. I think people need to take advantage of this because there are no gatekeepers. The only gatekeeper is what's between your ears right now. That's always been the fact. I would have loved to have been able to have sat in the creative meetings of the rollout to figure out what they were going to do and what rubric they use for success. Like, what was their yardstick for success outside of just dropping this product, right? Because hindsight being 2020, I think that there's other things that could have been done with the rollout, but nonetheless, the rollout's fire, right? The immersive experience of this rollout, bar none, is excellent. And I hope that other artists, upcoming artists, they connect with fine artists and push this conversation. I hope that they build on their immediate ecosystem of people that are around them. You know, it doesn't have to be some big, crazy strategy. I'm excited to see what's next. So I think that there's a couple of things that we should look at strategically when it comes down to breaking down what you can do similar to this. It's really think outside the box about your creativity. Align with people that may be pushing the same conversation and or theme that you're using for whatever you're dropping, right? The other thing is building on your community. What is the conversation that you're having with people that you are trying to bring into your community and currently are in your community? I think that that's very important. And when I say community, I mean literally in your touchable physical community, but also the community of people that you're selling your goods and services to that are outside your reach physically, where you have to connect with them through this type of media, right? Through social media. I think that understanding the power of those tools and how you're going to bring them into the conversation is also very important. I think I would love to see call to actions on smaller campaigns. I think that that's also very powerful as you're rolling out product for your bigger conversation that you're about to have. Layering your rollout is very important, and we got to see this. These basically act as little breadcrumbs along the way, and then you bring them through different call to actions and these breadcrumbs to the big dance, the big picture, the final product, the real rollout item, right? I think that this builds hype, it builds conversation, and it's an excellent use of storytelling. I think you're able to have collaboration across culture. And this is you tapping into a photographer, a candle maker, a skater, a stylist, a fine artist, anyone who's doing something that's within the ecosystem, anywhere that you hang out with, and that's where people are hanging out, those are people that you're in your ecosystem. And trust me, somebody in there, they're trying to build up some kind of business. And it's just about building your network and your community and figuring out what the synergy is, because you already have connection. And it's about taking that connection and now making it communication for your actual product, which I think is very important. And with that, I would say, you should think texture, not trends. You should think about how you're actually going to mix grit and polish, how you're going to mix fabrication with sound and your theme. It's kind of like what we do when we're building mood board for designing a collection. It's okay, whatever the theme is, let's write down all of the items to make you think of this place, of this theme, and then we start pulling items and try to like fabricate the same texture and feel. Like, what's the conversation that we're trying to have? And it doesn't necessarily have to be tactile things that you could do, that you have to do. It could be imagery that you use for this rollout. There's a lot of different ways that you could bring texture to communication. I don't ever think that you should roll out anything with just a white background, white slate, like super clean. There should be conversation that's drawing the people in, right? And when you're doing collaboration, you have the ability to do that, to bring these people into your ecosystem. Very important. And I love the idea of like just leaving these Easter eggs all over the place, like the Verdi cover with the license plate that says Frozen. I thought that was dope. And I think these little Easter eggs are the things that, insiders get to share with one another. And you get these little moments, right? It's like little wins. Very important. My name is Pell, and I really do enjoy creating and watching great product come to fruition. And watching this rollout has been amazing. I want everyone to please enjoy life, nurturing your creativity.